Hello and welcome to a very prideful episode of the super happy fun Jabbertron Tea Party podcast with Kiki, Cupcake, and Miss. First Pride was a riot. Now on with the show.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I got a wig that refuses to stop getting in my face, but I'm fine.
That's good.
Happy Pride.
Yes, very happy Pride. Itchy. Itchy, scratchy. Ha. And I'm not gonna say if I'm itchy or scratchy. Hardy har har.
Forgotten which is which.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let him do his thing, and then there's another group chat that keeps. We're talking about Star Trek.
Ooh, about Star Trek.
Someone was talking about they watched an episode where Tasha comes back on the Enterprise. And talking about how like there's earlier examples of Star Trek like having longer story arcs. So yeah. Is my screen doing? It's being circly.
Circly.
Yeah, kind of the whole like I'm loading, so there's a vague circle in the middle of the screen that's trying to load, and
Oh, okay. The loading circle.
so I gotta finish what I was writing. Anyways. But yeah, my ass still hurts. I was like, yay.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, let me try the Peloton and see if that works. And hi, Cupcake.
Hi, Cupcake.
Ever living sign of darkness. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I started pedaling, and I was like, yeah, my tailbone's not gonna withstand doing this for even like 5 minutes, let alone like 20 minutes. So I was like, how's Cupcake? Good. Great.
Ah, let there be light.
All right, I think everything's working.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, now that we're all ready to go, I did finally finish Godzilla 01.
-1?
I know that was
Minus
one. Yes, -1.
-2. Ha ha! The sequel. Back in the history to tell he's just a lizard. Maybe. Whatever.
But I remember, kind of, at the beginning, because we have, at least here in America, I'm not sure how it is in Europe, but we see a lot of the Western Axis power showing of PTSD from various wars, whatever war they may be. And I know that I'm pretty sure, since it's in Japanese, that, and I didn't check this, I'm pretty sure that Japan was the one who created the movie and filmed the movie and produced the movie, etc. but it's a very, don't want to say refreshing, because PTSD and war isn't a refreshing subject, but it was very nice for me to at least have another side of, this is what it was like for people in Japan and maybe other similar Asian countries after a war, and what happens to them in terms of how their culture thinks about, especially in World War II, the kamikaze pilot, about honor and winning and losing, and the repercussions of, I lived because I was too afraid to do my duty, which can also be, seen as something from someone like a soldier from England or America or Germany or whatever, but it's a slightly different, at least for me, for someone actually from Japan. So
go ahead.
Because it's their honorable death kind of thing, and their honor system is, at least, if not very different, at least different enough that if you told somebody from America, like, oh yeah, man, I was too afraid, I ran away, we would be like, oh man, I would be afraid too, man. I definitely, I can empathize with that, blah, 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 blah. Whereas the one scene from the movie where he gets back and he sees his neighbor, she's like, what the fuck are you doing back here? You should have been out there and gone out there and crashed your goddamn plane. Like, I was told to live. Why are you still here? And everybody else fucking died and was burned alive. And, like, so it's a very different reaction from something that any of us here would react in a similar situation.
I mean, all he wants to do in the end is die. The people around him don't want him to die eventually. But he feels that all this horrible things Godzilla related keep happening to him because he didn't die.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do his honorable death.
Yeah.
But all around, great movie. Especially for a Godzilla movie.
Yes, I agree.
Pardon. But yeah, it is a Japanese produced film. It's from Toho Productions. And somebody else who's Japanese that I forget the name of, like Robotics Productions or something like that.
It's still weird to me that the King of Monsters kaiju universe is going to probably be the most successful. It's the one where Godzilla's like a giant cat, basically. I don't remember what was King of Monsters the newest one? It's the one where he fights King Kong and King Kong has the gauntlet.
That's not the newest one, but that was the one from a little bit ago.
Okay.
The newest one is where he teams up with Kong for some reason.
Well, that's all I know is that's the universe, those movies where it's like him and King Kong and Mothra, and like it harkens back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, like silly Godzilla, kind of like what Adam West Batman was for Batman, where it's Batman but kind of fun and silly sometimes, instead of just being like, he's a horror that represents all the things that are wrong with humanity. I still don't understand how Godzilla is a he when Godzilla has children.
I always call Godzilla a she because fuck them.
I just assumed it was a she. But everyone's like, it's a guy. I'm like, the fuck it is.
Yeah. It's also a beast of legend and radioactive and all that other stuff. So I suppose
it's an overgrown iguana.
I suppose it can
or
do
Komodo dragon. I'm not sure which.
Whatever it wants.
Yeah. I think making Godzilla a female is more apropos.
Yeah.
I mean, also, was it I forget what it's called, the thermal meltdown Godzilla. Because that actually appears in the King of Monsters universe, where Mothra gets killed fighting Ghidorah, I want to say. No, is it Ghidorah? It's a three-headed one. I can't think of the name of it. And Mothra's blessing turns Godzilla into the meltdown Godzilla.
Yeah. The three-headed one.
I think that's King Ghidorah. Ghidorah, or however the hell you say it. It's Gidroh.
Yeah, that's Ghidorah.
Ghidorah always ends up being like the ultimate big bag, other than maybe Space Godzilla. Space Godzilla. I don't know. I like giant monsters. I'm a weirdo.
I'm not a weirdo. I love
Said the pot to its reflection in the kettle.
Oh, happy Pride Cupcake.
You're happy for what?
Happy Pride.
I won't recognize this month until the veterans have a month of their own. I just love it. Like the one Republican representative posting that publicly, and then one of the Democrats being like, "Dipshit, that's the month of May." Oh, right.
I think our vents need to be cleaned. I swear it smells something moldy.
I've been having that with my sink every once in a while. It smells like a little like sewer gas, but like the main drain clean out is literally like right around on the other side of the wall, and if I go in our lunchroom, it doesn't smell like anything. So I don't know if I need to flush some sanitizer down the P trap of my sink, because the sewer itself doesn't, the actual main sewer drain and out of our house doesn't smell. There's no smell coming from the main clean out.
That's good.
So it's not the main line that smells. It's got to be in the P trap running out of the sink. And the toilet and the shower don't smell, which are on the same main drain. So it's got to be in my sink P trap, which might just mean I need a new P trap. But if I'm, might needs to get cleaned out. But at that effect, just take the whole thing apart and put a new one in, because it's from 20 years ago.
Oh, then yeah, maybe. Oh, there's
I mean, we put it in when I was in high school, so it's it's in this weird it's getting to that point of you could you could clean it, but you could also just replace it if you're going to take it apart.
So you and I watched My Oni Girl.
Mm-hmm. That was a thing.
That was the Snow Gods one.
Yeah. The Onis live in a hidden village in the north of Japan. In the mountains, even. And what does he call it? They call them the frozen gods of the wind or whatever, protect the village.
Yeah.
Very nice.
They don't really explain the concept of there's a person controlling them, I guess. I don't. Because there's a woman in the shrine, and they don't explain.
They don't.
Other than she's.
Yeah, they don't really explain why they had to sacrifice a person to the snow gods, or
not even sacrifice to the snow gods. It seems like she's controlling them. Not controlling them in the literal sense, not like they're puppets, but her presence in that shrine keeps them there.
Yeah. Why? How often that has to be done?
I'm assuming when she dies, they have to pick a replacement.
Yeah, her emotions seem to have affected them. Probably shouldn't have picked a woman with a family.
Also, why not the old, what do you call it, Vestal Virgin or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I think they just kind of hope you don't question it real closely.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's a lot of stories like that where they're just like the author's hoping you don't real like dig down into the nitty gritty of like why. Like, we had this conversation at work, just like as a side note, about like how does Marty McFly end up becoming friends with Doc Brown? And I'm like, in the novels they bring up that he had been kind of a vandal, and his community service was to help Doc Brown clean up his property. That's how they became friends. But like in the movie, it's not ever discussed. It's just they've known each other for a while.
Yeah.
True.
If you don't think about it hard because you're sitting there watching a movie and you're in there
Right.
for the action-packed stuff, you don't really think about it until you get home and go, wait, what?
I didn't even think about it until like somebody in my like adult life was like, "So why is Marty McFly friends with Doc Brown?" And I'm like, I don't know. And I dug down, and it was like, yeah, in the novelization, they're like, his community service was to clean up the Brown estate because they were going to foreclose on Doc Brown because his, you know, like when he goes back to 1955, you see there was this huge mansion.
Mm-hmm. Well, My Only Girl is an original work, not based on a book, so I guess they just didn't think that hard and went, let's just write a slightly weird, cute romance story.
Right. Well, that was like the one, I can't remember the name of it, but the one where like where they all the kids from the different times coming together.
The Lonely Mirror in the Castle?
Yeah. Like that whole, like the more you think about it, the more like weirdly messed up it is.
Lonely Mirror in the Castle, yeah, that's what it's called. Yes, it is very messed up.
Yeah, that I just get reminded of something like that's completely separate, but is kind of similar because it deals with like Japanese lore, and it's also like mess the fuck up because it like okay, I know it's fan fiction and I know it's Overwatch, but like they take Hanzo and they make him like he's going to be the one who is helping to fix. He sees spirits, so he's like getting the spiritual training, etc., etc., etc. And then he like and then he's like, he's gonna be the one to get the dragons back for his entire family, extended family, right? So he goes through all this training, goes through the rites, climbs all the way up to the top of the spiritual mountain, and then is told, "You will never be a dragon." And he gets a shard in his chest. And like it's a whole convoluted thing. It's a very well written story and very long story, but like you eventually find out like it like there was like a ancestor of his who went after the evil spirit, and then they fought to the death in like Western America, and it's like a whole thing. But like the reason why he wasn't going to be a dragon is because they were making him. They went with his Okami skin, which is like, furry Hanzo, the wolf Hanzo. So, but like it was totally like total like egotistical spirit who was just like, fuck you, you're not gonna be a dragon, and didn't explain shit. Just sent him back down. So he did his job. He got the dragons back for his extended family. He didn't get dragons. Then everybody else in his family was like, well, what does Hanzo know? He doesn't have dragons. And like not taking him seriously. So then he becomes suicidal. Because he spent his entire life up to that point, like at least 16 to 17 years, studying and going through trials. And he went through this trial and he So he's just like. So yeah, like I said, it kind of goes into the same thing of like, yeah, these spirits are a little bit convoluted, and a little bit of the story is them like not looking past their egos or not wanting to get past their egos or just being assholes because they could be an asshole.
The Lonely Castle in the Mirror was a novel originally, apparently.
Right. Like, I just remember thinking of like the, like how it all works, kind of being like, the more you think about it, the more it's just like a rada.
My husband and I finally saw Pneumonia.
Neat.
Which is, I don't know if any of you have ever seen that.
No, I don't think so.
It's on Netflix. It's based on a webcomic. It's a queer film, which is partially why I bring it up. It's futuristic fantasy.
It's part of Netflix?
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Nimona.
I'm sorry, what was it called again?
Nimona.
Ah, okay. I think I remember. Oh, no, there we go. It's the little pink girls.
Yep.
Shape-shifting teen. Interesting. Ooh, looks like there's the animated She-Ra and the Princess of Power. Princesses of Power.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. When is this from?
She-Ra is also very good. Has absolutely nothing to do with Masters of the Universe. Well, there go my headphones.
Oh, I'm just remembering the Masters of the Universe one from the 80s with like Carl Lewis Lundgren as he
the live action movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I loved that growing up. Are they making another one? Another live action one? I could have sworn I saw an article of like, we finally found our He-Man.
Sure.
I feel like its time is kind of past. Like, people in charge now would be like, the fuck is He-Man?
Well, it's really more made for us.
Who's the us in this? I never watched He-Man.
I meant
too young.
Our generation, millennials.
You want Gen X, late Gen X, because Gen X ends in 82, so you would have been, whoever was born then would have been about the right age for it, or maybe very early millennials.
Then I'm sorry, elder millennials. When I say millennials.
Yeah, because like I'm right on the edge of being an elder millennial because I was 87, and like I remember growing up with stuff from the early 90s. I mean, like the shit existed, but I mean, I was 3 in 1990, and at that point, He-Man was mostly done. Yeah. Although so was like all the other stuff except for possibly Transformers. Even Transformers wasn't huge at that point. At least no one I knew was into Transformers. But weirdly, like Ghostbusters. I remember watching Ghostbusters as a kid. Like that outlived the other 80s cartoons.
Yeah, like our like the ones that I would have that I would have grown up like watching would have been, like the Ghostbusters, TMNT,
right?
Like, maybe reruns of like the He-Man and She-Ra,
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff wasn't on TV around here when I was a kid. Like, Ghostbusters, like TMNT I get because TMNT came out the year I was born. So, like, it was hitting its stride, like right about the time I was like I was 5 when Power Rangers came out. Like Power Rangers was fall of '92. I was just like, yeah. But like, I don't like everybody's like 80s cartoons. You're a millennial, right? I'm like, dude, that shit was on TV for like Gen X.
Yeah.
Or if you were like the first 5 years of being a millennial, like 82 to 87, I guess. That's my big argument, like on like children's entertainment. They're like, well, you were born when it was out. I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't alive for it. So people being like, do you remember seeing RoboCop in theaters? No, I was 2.
Yeah, like there's some stuff where it's like, it's more my brother's generation that watched the 80s TV shows and the 80s movies. Because my brother was born in 1977. So he would
Jesus,
be
yes. You get that. That's 100%. Yeah.
Like, he would have been old enough to watch all of the, like, Cupcake with Power Rangers, old enough to remember starting to watch it as a kid, and that's the stuff you grew up on. And I grew up on. Like, some of the stuff, like, yeah, I could see, like, me and Kiki, like, mid-80s, like, you know, late 80s, yeah, maybe we watched some of the stuff, but the only thing that I necessarily remember was the Care Bears, the gummy bears,
yeah.
that, like, Care Bears, the gummy bears. I vaguely remember, like, have a memory of seeing like the opening animation to that. You know, so stuff like that. Like, but
well, Gummy Bears was weird because it was a Disney title. Like, I remember the only time we ever said Gummy Bears is like if we got like Disney for free, like for a week or whatever with cable. Maybe it was on other channels, I don't know, but like when I was a kid, like the way you saw the like was the Wild Adventures of Gummy Bears was if you had Disney Channel, which like back then was very like exclusive, I guess.
Like, yeah, if you had Disney, you were like fancy.
Okay, I was fancy.
Well, I mean, we didn't have cable growing up. Like, it wasn't until like maybe I was in my teens that we got cable, maybe. Like, but growing up, it was like, I don't remember having. But then again, I don't have too many cognizant memories from my childhood. Like, there's a few that stand out before I turned like 11 or 12. But like, most of my childhood is like, eh.
No, I remember watching Disney as a kid.
Well, like I have memories of shows that I don't even remember the title of anymore. I feel like we've had this conversation long ago on the podcast. There was one with like a girl with like 2 animated with 2 koala bears, I feel like, and they like went on adventures. I'm pretty sure it was anime of some sort, but it may have been Western animation. And couldn't tell you the name. And at some point, one of us found it, but I forgot it in the meantime.
Ew.
But I'm saying, like, I was young, like 3 when I was watching this. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe? Also known as the Wanderer's Claw Blinking? No, maybe not.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's it. Nozzles, yep. That looks right.
It was an anime.
Yeah, 84. Good God. It's on Nick Jr.? What? I'm an adult. Go away. Why are you looking at the Nick Jr. wiki as an adult? Rada, rada, rada. Oh, yeah, it was on the children's block on Nickelodeon in 88 to 93, so that would make sense.
Looks cute. I like a pink koala.
My fingers are still getting used to the new password at work.
Oh.
Because it's like, it needs to be longer. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, because I was using like most of the same first part, and then like changing up the end. So my muscle memory was just like, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, oh, it's longer. So, all right. So, all right. Switching over to my phone.
Okay. Let's see. Everybody's still being picked up? Yeah. Everything's fine.
All right. This is really annoying because sit for a while. My ass is like, oh, you're moving. Same. Yes, I'm getting up. I know it's horrible. You're gonna move from your nice bed. I know it's comfy. I heard that. Yes, I did. Yes, mommy break time. Anyways, but great. So set this stuff down. So yes, so I'm writing a short little one shot. That's for a event collection thing. One of those soulmate things, soulmate AUs. So I'm doing that. And then yesterday, in a server for a specific ship in the Call of Duty fandom, they have like a not safe for work channel, and they have a lot of threads underneath that for specific different topics. And this is referencing back to something I said to Geeky earlier. So there's someone mentioned something, and then I got a little bit inspired, and they have a for not safe for work, the whole BDSM thing, and then they have a sadomasochism, however you say it, S&M thread. And so I went, all right, I have a thought, but I probably should go to this channel. And someone was like, really? I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go to this channel, and cue word vomit. I just like, okay, yes, violence. Consensual violence. Yay. And now it's going to be turned into like a little one-shot fic thing. Yes. So yes, Kiki, that's what I was talking about earlier. Was like, my brain was like, this. I'm like, no. We're not editing that right now. Because I copy pasted from Discord. It's like, we're not editing that right now. We're doing podcast right now. Good job.
Mish might not, because I don't think she watched it with us. But do you remember Bloom Into You?
Yes, that's the one about the one girl wants to go to art school and the other one's got a track scholarship? Or is that the one about the Morning Glories?
That's the one about the lesbian where one of them is ace. One's really popular. I'm trying to...
Cut to give a bad guy from Batman Beyond. Do you know how little that narrows it down?
Hang on.
Maybe I didn't watch Women to You with you.
I could have sworn we watched it together.
I own it, but I don't I don't think I've watched this.
I thought I watched it with you.
I think you watched it by yourself, Kiki. I'm sorry. Because I have no memory of ever watching this. Or you watched it with another friend who I couldn't even tell you who that was. Yeah, the only thing I was thinking of was whatchamacallit in the Morning Glories.
I think I did not watch that, so yeah.
It's got not just a great representation of somebody who's a lesbian but doesn't know how to go about it because it's her first expressions of her feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But someone who's also ace and just realized, holy crap, I'm ace.
Nice.
As she has these expressions placed upon her and realizes, I'm getting absolutely nothing from this. I get absolutely nothing from anything. And not in like a bad way.
Go on, Yosking. Go on.
Do you want something? Would you like some affection? You know, just, I didn't feel a thing.
That's good. I like the fact that there are, and it's a little sad when it's not more widespread, but I like the fact that there are media, there is media out there that shows that, because that makes people feel less like they're alone or not represented.
Yes. It's also nice to see a lesbian represented in not a highly sexualized fashion, because that's usually what you get in anime. She's just a person.
Unrelated?
Yes.
Just because this popped up on my feed and fucking blowing my mind. So, apparently somebody is a franchisee of Alamo Drafthouse, and they have the one location here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, right?
Right.
So, this morning at 5 a.m., they post that they, effective immediately, they are shut down 100%. They are in Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and the employees can petition the court for their missing wages and be listed as creditors in need of repayment when they're liquidated.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I'm pretty sure, at least in this state, that's not how that works. Like, employees are supposed to get paid out before the creditors get paid out.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense to me, although I have no idea how any of that works. So,
like, creditors are taking a controlled risk. Employees are providing a service. Like, what?
ooh, yeah.
Like, if you really don't like it, you know, you could email the Department of Labor. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's how any of this works. I mean, I can't speak for Texas, but Minnesota, yeah, no. I don't think that's how that works. You're gonna have to pay them whether you like it or not.
Yeah. I mean even though I don't really know much of anything about that, that makes sense. You pay your employees before you pay any creditor or whatever.
I'm innately familiar with Minnesota labor laws, being a manager of people and like having worked with legal and human resources and whatnot. Like you whether you're insolvent or not, people have to get paid if they provided service. If you couldn't pay them, you're not supposed to be open for business.
Oh boy. Yeah, that not good. That's not good.
What likely will happen is the state of Minnesota will pay it out, and then everyone will whine about how they have to pay more taxes to pay for these fuck ups.
Yeah. Not realizing that if the same thing happened to them, they will be the ones who would want their money from their employer and would need to get it paid by the state of Minnesota, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Why do I have to pay for the roads? I don't use them anyway.
Yeah. Or why do I have to pay for the schools? I don't have kids. Like,
right.
Dude, like the kids are the ones who are going to be taking care of you when you're old and decrepit. So, like, let's make sure they get their education, please. Thanks.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to distract from what you guys were talking about. I was just like, I came across my news feed, and I was just like, oh my god, what?
That's fine. That's how we do it.
Yep.
This is probably the widest known one these days. But Yuri on Ice is a gay anime. Just to be blunt.
Right.
That involves ice skating. I still have not seen it. It's on the list to watch, but I haven't gone around to it.
Yes. Welcome to my waking nightmare. Why haven't you read, watched, listened to the thing? I have been at work non-stop. When I'm not at work, I'm being pulled in other directions. No, I have not. No, I have not. Well, when are you going to? I don't know.
Like, don't push me, motherfucker. Like, I'll watch it when I watch it. Like,
well, literally, I bought the remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door like what, almost 3 weeks ago. I've played like 30 minutes of it total. Like, I have had no energy or no time or no will or whatever you want to chalk it up to for weeks. For weeks. Like, I literally only barely made it for this. I literally have been under my blanket since I woke up at 9 a.m. And this is even after multiple cups of coffee and energy drinks. Like, I'm shot. I am fucking shot. And there is no end to the madness because everyone is begging for time off to go do stuff this summer with work. So I'm just not getting time off. And I am tenuously close to telling everyone no one's getting 4th of July off. If it's your day to work, you're working. Because everyone put in for their week, that week off. Oh, I want that week off. No.
that's fun.
Jeez.
Ah.
I'm sorry, Cupcake.
I wouldn't apologize. It's not your fault.
I'm... Okay. I guess...
Well, I'll just say I feel for you, man.
Ugh. Yeah.
Well, I know everyone feels for me, but it doesn't change the fact that, like, you know, my own team is going, well, you should take time off. I would, but everyone else needs it off. And you guys all come to me with, you know, it's an important event. It's not just like I want it off. It's like, oh, my brother's getting married or whatever. And so it's like, I can't say no. But, like, it all stacks up because it's not just that one person needs it. It's that 4 people need it consecutively. So I don't have my whole team at any given time. Everyone's off for some chunk of 3 to 7 days consecutively. And when they're not, anyway. Oh, fun! They're making a Barbie sequel. Idiots.
Sequel?
Yeah, Warner Brothers is reportedly in talks to make a Barbie sequel with or without Greta Gerwig.
To do what?
To make money, Kiki. They're a business. I thought that was obvious. No, they're trying to solve the problem of world peace.
World peace for money.
Oh my fucking god.
What?
Oh my fucking god. That's going everywhere. I don't even care anymore.
What's going on?
My fucking... Right there. Just right there. What I just posted. Just right there. That's what I'm living right now.
Yes. Yes. Please give a bitch a break.
Anyway. Poor Cupcake.
Do not weep for me. I am already dead.
My favorite queer anime, which I have seen, which I don't know if you own. I don't know if it gets sold anymore.
What
Wandering Sun?
the hell is that? Wandering Sun?
It's about trans children.
Literally just called like the sibling SON.
Yes.
I have never even heard of this.
I don't know if it's ever been dubbed.
I didn't even know it had an anime.
Yeah, it's got 12 episodes.
That's what I'm seeing. Hang on. It never got released over here.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay.
2011. Yeah, that's just about right. So it was still like it's hard to realize, or it's not hard. It's weird to think that even a decade ago, shit like this would be like, no, in the United States.
Well, considering how Japan is.
Right. Well, they have less hang up about like talking about it. They just like collectively agree like those people are bad and we shun those people. But they're not afraid to talk about it. Here it's like you can't talk about it or more people will become like that, corrupted, away from the light of God.
They're getting better about it, especially in their laws.
Also because the old people are dying and the young people are just like, I'm sorry, what's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
But that's always my thing. You're like, well, I'm this. Oh, okay. Does it affect me in any way? No. Cool. Sounds like a plan. What are your pronouns? Works for me.
I had a high school classmate. Yeah, I'm friends with on Facebook. Basically, has made Facebook posts.
Yeah.
Being trans or drag to mental illness. And I'm like, look, out of all the mental illnesses someone can have, right? Say being trans is a mental illness, just for the sake of this point. Someone thinking that they're a man and a woman's in a biologically female's body is one of the least harmful mental illnesses someone can have. Right? As long as you let them think that, they're going to think, okay, I'm a man. Let them dress the way they want. If they decide to get surgery, take medication, or anything else to assist them with looking on the outside the way they feel on the inside, it's nobody's business but theirs and their doctor. Right? So for me, it's like, and granted, I'm like, he can think that. That's fine. He's free to think that being trans is a mental illness. But it's like, I think that's one that, like I said, one of the least harmful ones if that person is allowed to express themselves. And unfortunately, even if they're not allowed to express themselves, the only person that they will harm is themselves. if they're not allowed to express themselves. And they get depressed and despondent. The only person that will be harmed is that person. And not with like some other mental illnesses where they're going to go out and, because they think they're God or because they think someone in their family is a demon or whatever, and they kill their family or they kill a bunch of people. Well, now you have someone with a mental illness who killed a bunch of people or harmed a bunch of people. So it's like, can you
don't even? Oh my god, this is such a fucking can of worms.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's not a black, oh my god. Every time I have this conversation at work, I just slowly lose my mind because everyone assumes. I don't even know how to put this, so I'm going to say this, and you two can laugh at me. Everyone at work assumes the way I look that I must be a conservative, and when they find out that I'm not, they get really, really upset. Because it turns out that I'm a dyed-in-the-wool liberal. And the last time this came up was for Pride Month, and they're like, I don't care about as long as they're not teaching our kids this shit. I'm like, teaching them what? Tolerance? Love for each other? What? Like, you don't have a problem with them corrupting our children? Corrupting them in what way? What are you talking about? Well, I'm like, no, I don't know. Explain it to me in plain English. What's the problem? And then just this look of, oh, you're not one of us.
And Cupcake going, I wouldn't want to be one of you, even if you gave me $3 billion.
There's no amount of money. None.
Like Bezos could walk up to Cupcake and give him a controlling share in Amazon, and Cupcake still wouldn't do it.
There's just this moment of like, I'm like, a good chunk of my friends are this. They were focused out on trans people, and I was like, a good chunk of my friends are trans. So what's the problem? There's just this, oh, I can't talk to you anymore.
But also, like, I'm also thinking about the whole, like, go to the bathroom where that is associated with the gender you were assigned at birth. I'm like, there are trans men who look like Cupcake that
right.
I'm not ask you what genitalia you have because that's incredibly rude. I don't want to see your genitalia.
Right.
Or like someone who looks like a man.
Right.
Wanders into the woman's restroom, I'm gonna be like, get the fuck out. If I look at the person and I clock them as that looks like a dude, a guy, a man, I'm asking what you're doing in the woman's restroom.
Well, my whole thing is, I don't like. Everyone's like, whoa. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, if all you're doing is using the bathroom, washing your hands, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm not like. One time, I had to borrow the sink in the women's bathroom just to wash my hands. All I was doing, and not like everyone freaked the fuck out. I was just like, so sorry, I got crap on my hands. They're working on the sinks in the men's bathroom. Just need to wash my hands quick. Don't scream. I'm not here to cause trouble. And it turned into this huge fucking, who the fuck do you think you are, pervert? I'm like, just wanted to wash my hands real quick. I am sorry. I'm not staring at anybody. I'm not looking at anybody. Just washing my hands.
I have used the men's room on more than one occasion.
Right. And believe me when I say this, like, us dudes don't give a shit if a woman wants to come in and, like, use the stall. Like, none of us give a shit. And none of us are looking at you. And none of, like, as far as on average, most of us are too busy trying not to look at each other to be looking at a woman going into one of the stalls. Because nobody, like, I know this sounds weird. Unwritten man's rule. Don't look at each other's dicks when you're pissing. Don't. It's weird. Don't do it.
No, what we really need is more unisex bathrooms.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and it's just like, people are like, oh my god, drag queens bringing the kids. I'm like, look, assault on children comes from trusted adults or older children in their lives. right?
Yeah.
So, because
Right.
I've had this thought process with myself, because like way back when my friend was more black and white on abortion, I was like, look, at the age of 11, I had my first period, right?
Right.
I was not ready to have kids, right? And like, I'm not the kind of person who wandered around, especially at the age of 11, even when I was grown. I wasn't, like, even when I'm like now or like in my 20s, let alone at 11. I wasn't the
Right.
kind of person who walked up to strange men and went, "Hey, you want to see my 11-year-old hoo-ha?" No,
Right.
that's not something I did as a 20-year-old, let alone 11. So, guess what, folks? The short list of adults who would have assaulted me, requiring an abortion, would have been
Right.
my dad, my older brother, my grandfathers, my older male cousins, my uncles,
Right.
either of my two male soccer coaches, my male teachers at the primary school or middle school,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like, or like my neighbors, like, or the priest at church. Hello, like, so I'm like, so you have to think, like, the assault will come from a trusted member of the community or their
Right.
family. And no ifs, no ands, no buts. And if you really don't want your kids asking questions that you think they're too young to have answers for yet, like, what's a drag queen? Don't talk to them, like, don't take them to see a drag queen. Don't take them. It's as simple as that. Like, oh my God, they're reading to our kids. Don't take your kid to have them read a story to you. Like, what the fuck's the problem? Like, just don't take them to it. If you think it's something that they shouldn't be exposed to someone who has a quote unquote mental illness. Ugh. Like, dude, a lot of these dudes have better fashion sense than y'all. Like, seriously.
Well, and the problem for me comes from trying to split. Oh.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I was like, why? The issue for me comes trying, basically, with a lot of this stuff, is trying to split the, how do I say this? Split, like, the sexual context from the artistic context. Like, they can be the same, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't know how to, like, say this without basically damning my own case, but it's like, the assumption is it's a perverse sexual thing, act, whatever, manifestation, theatric, whatever. But like, it's, and then you get into this whole, like, they're like, oh, we're desensitizing our kids to sex, and I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, I don't have the energy for this. I don't even know how to put it into words, because it's like, I live in a super conservative town, so like that shit doesn't even happen here, and it's not like that's not a good or bad. It's just a thing. Like, it's, I don't know. Jesus Christ, I'm getting fucking old. I'm just like, what? Why are we even, like? Why as a society are we even fucking focusing on this? Like, it's not important. It's not what we should be worried about. Like, our entire judicial system needs a pretty severe overhaul. Our medical system needs an overhaul. We have physical civil infrastructure that is in dire need of addressment, and we're fucking worried about the occasional drag performer reading stories to children.
Well, if we make them care about the drag performers, we can't make them care about the corrupt judicial system, and it can continue to be corrupt.
Distract them with the flashing lights and the waving flags over here.
Like, I understand the concept, but like, we lost we lost sight of the whole ideal of men who plant trees who will never bask in its shade. Like, it's, if we don't take care of this, it's like all of this is going to be catastrophic eventually. And everyone goes, well, it won't be my problem, I'll be dead. And it's like, yes, but do you want to settle your children or grandchildren with this? Like, what kind, like, you want to play toxic masculinity, I play it right back. You want to be the kind of man that leaves a wasteland for your children? That make you proud to be a man? Like, you want to play the fucking I got a big dick card? I'll play the big dick game with you. I would argue you got a tiny dick if what your plan for the world is to leave a tepid wasteland of tyrannical madness for your children. Like, you should want to leave a better world for the next generation. You should not be like, I got mine, fuck you.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing, like I said earlier, where it's like, where people are like, I don't understand why I have to fund the schools. I don't have kids. Well, the younger generation are the people who are going to run the country, take care of the country. Like, and it's like, and some of them are going to be the people who are going to take care of you medically or physically when you get old. Do you want them to be just smart enough to be dangerous? Like, oh yeah, I got my training, I can take care of you, but they're not smart enough.
Please, you know what I mean? Degrees.
Like, so it's like, yeah. It's just.
Also, why are we only worried about drag queens? Did we forget that drag kings exist? Or do we just not give a shit about women?
Wow, way to hit it right on the head. No shit.
Yeah, it's like, what? Oh, women can wear pants, whatever. But yeah, drag kings, it's like, yeah, no one,
well,
because
didn't you know? Women just exist to be broodmares. Like, that's what they exist for. Like, make me a sandwich and bear my children. I don't know where you've been.
Just like we only care about trans women. We always forget about trans men.
Well, see, they don't care about trans men because trans men are effectively negligible in their conservative minds.
Mm-hmm.
It also goes back to the whole argument of women are chameleons.
If the church can find out we can shapeshift, they're going to burn us again. Sorry.
And I mean that jokingly, but in some serious sense of the word, I also do mean that, like, women are very, just the entire, like, Western ideal of womanhood, like, women are very good at hiding in plain sight. Men are like, so it takes a lot more effort for a man to learn that art. Yes, I was sexist, and I am aware of that, but I didn't know how else to put that into words. But I was sexist against my own gender.
Yeah, it's okay.
Men were built for combat, not for stealth. It still never ceases to amaze me. Like, we just had a photo taken for my mom's retirement party, and like, I'm off to the side. I look like I would eat the rest of my family because they're all like half my size.
Like, weight-wise or height? Because you're not even that tall.
I'm a big dude compared to the rest of my family.
So what, you're like 6 or close to 6
I'm basically 5'10". I think I'm 5'9", 5'10". Like, I'm not particularly giant, but like I'm twice. Like, it's not obvious when I'm sitting here, but like, I'm a big dude. Like, I'm a big dude. Like, just size wise, like, I'm a big dude. I can deadlift 300 pounds at this point. And every dude's like, oh, I would do that too. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Like, my Uncle Joe is taller than I am, but I am so much heavier. It's not even funny. Oh, I got rain? Really?
It's gonna rain again where you were?
Apparently? It doesn't look like it is, though.
Okay, I've got the impression that, like, most of your, like, female family members are, like, me and Kiki's size or shorter.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Like, they're, like, 5 foot between, like, 4'11" and, like, 5'2". So
they're
like,
little taller. They're, like, closing in on, like, 5'5", 5'6", but, like...
How tall do you think I am?
What's up?
I'm talking to Mish. How tall do you think I am?
I think you're about my height, which is, like, 5'4".
Oh, okay. I'm like, do you think I'm a shorty?
I mean, 5'4" is kind of short, honestly. Hate to tell you that.
It's like in the averages for women.
Mr. Mish is also around, like, 5'10", 5'11".
My husband is 6'2".
That's average. Maybe a little short for a guy.
Yeah, my brothers are between, like, 6 foot and, like, 6'2", so... But they take after my dad's side of the family. They're all tall.
Like,
so.
I think anything around, like, within 4 inches of 6 foot is average. Anything outside of that is going towards short and tall. With, like, you know, a percentage as you go farther away. People be like... Because, like, I had one of my bosses at work, one of my GMs was like, you know, you're kind of short. I'm like, Ray, you're shorter than I am. Are you a midget? Like, what? Are you a dwarf? Like, what are you? Like, you're like 5'4". I'm 5'10". So if I'm short, what are you?
Oy.
But anyway.
Yes.
But nonetheless, it's just interesting to, I don't know, on a total whatever, you know, physical fitness level, like getting strong was one of the weirdest journeys of my life. Because I didn't really change shape or anything. I just got strong.
Right.
Strong.
To
this day, it's still just like, I don't understand how this happened. Well, I understand how it happened, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think it was going to be like, oh yeah, you're going to just be fat but strong now. You're still the same shape, and you don't really, like, you know, you're not like, ooh, but you're just like, Dude, you just moved a 400-pound washer. I know, I don't know how I did it. Anyway, so what are we talking about? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
That's okay.
We were talking about Pride Media.
Yes, Pride, the scourge of America, or some, I don't know. Again, to me, a non-issue. To it feels like everyone else I talk to of the male persuasion, like, totally emasculated by the fact that it exists. And I'm like, why? There's plenty of gay men. They're masculine. Just this face of, shut up. What, you've never heard of a bear? Which has such a double meaning when you have the old, I'd rather meet a bear on the road than a man.
Yeah. Well, in all honesty, bear the animal and bear the gay man. I'd rather run into one of those two than some random cis guy. Ugh.
Well, there's a new polyamorous flag. What was wrong with the old one?
There's a new what to the what to the what? Oh, flag. Gotcha. What to the what to the what to the what to the biggity buck bumble. That's stuck in my head. My childhood. They did not need to go that hard with the theme song for the game Buck Bumble.
Oh, I get why they wanted a new one. Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Why did they change the design?
Because it has the pie symbol on it, and it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
It apparently makes a lot of people think that polyamory is exclusively 3 people.
Because pi is 3.14?
Yeah.
So it's 3 people and then like 1/15 of a person? And that's just confusing because how can you have 1/15 of a relationship?
Yeah. So it's a heart with a white offset triangle and then the 3 colors.
That seems fine. Like, I don't. That's the new one,
one.
right?
That's the new one.
Yeah. Like, okay. I don't know. I guess like I'm in a weird like. I realize I don't have a lot of great like positions, but this is one of those ones where I'm like, just like this stuff. Just to me is just like such a non-point. I don't understand why people get so bent out of shape about it. Because just like, okay, whatever.
I mean, I'm monogamous, but my brother's polyamorous, so it's all about keeping an open mind. Whatever works for the people involved, as long as everybody's consenting.
Right.
That's the point. Everybody's got to be consenting.
Right.
And of legal age. Look at you, predatory adults. And then a little bit ago, they had to change the lesbian flag because the original creator was a TERF.
That's so fantastic.
So now it has some which I prefer the colors of the new one anyway.
Right.
Which, if I remember, I'll show the 2 side by side.
Well, that's like the lady. I don't even know the creator's name, but the lady on YouTube that does all the like medieval fighting and armor like analyses or whatever. Turns out that she's got some pretty not. She doesn't open about it anymore because she got like years ago she got shut down for basically being a TERF, and so like it came out that she's got just like troublesome views about LGBT anything, and so now it's like coming to the forefront because she co-opted with a creator who then found out about it, and like different creator who then went to her and was like, "You really believe this stuff?" And like what he heard, he was just like, "Look, I'm taking the video down. I'm not going to be involved with her. Like, I'm not going to get into the politics of what I was told, but like, I can't be associated with her." And effectively, since she was slapped down years ago, she has not been, let's say, public about it, but she also hasn't publicly been like, I'm not like that. And so now she's basically just like in this weird quagmire of, she won't say what she feels because I'm guaranteeing she, realizes it's what?
Tim cannot join us as they have an early start tomorrow.
That's alright.
That's fine. So, like, I found out about this through another, like, a friend talking to me about, because they were talking about the last video she posted about the Princess Bride. And I'm like, what? Seriously? God damn it. Why is everybody such a shitty human being?
Who is this we're talking about? I didn't quite catch.
I don't know her name, but it's the lady, Mish, it's the lady that does the medieval fighting and armor, like, critiques.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so it turns out she's a TERF, and she has many problematic viewpoints that she made publicly almost a decade ago, and then was like basically slapped down by the community who are like, "Who the fuck are you to say shit like this?" And so she retracted it all, but like has never publicly disavowed these previous views. So the assumption is she still holds all these views. She just doesn't publicly disclose them anymore because she realizes it's bad for business.
Yeah.
And it all came out because one like one other creator, I think it's Tom Scott. I might have the wrong name. Like, did a collab video with her, and then found out about it, and like went to her and was like, "Yo, like, what's going on?" And then didn't disclose what she told him, but she told him enough that he pulled the video and said, "I can't be associated with her." Which apparently, given his track record, is not a good barometer of what's going on with her. It's all like hush hush, double secret probation, because none of this is being publicly disclosed, like what she feels, what she thinks. But the assumption is what's not being said, but the actions that they're seeing, like, the ripples out from what has happened, make, like, basically paint a picture that she privately still holds all these views. She just doesn't publicly disclose them because she doesn't want to lose market share and wants to, it's her livelihood. So she realizes, like, I can't, like, actively hate on a group of people who might be my viewership, my viewers.
Can't scare away my meal ticket.
Right. I'm not saying that is what it is. That's just my personal interpretation of what's happening.
Mm-hmm. The lesbian flag from 1999 sure was different. It's just a purple flag with a black triangle and an axe on it.
Well, okay then. I'm not judging.
I am.
You would. Judging. Silently judging.
I'm not silently judging. I was very opening judging.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. Is that? I don't remember what cartoon that's from, but I'm judging you. Silently judging you.
I don't know.
I don't either. I feel like it's Futurama, but I don't know if it is.
One of my earrings that you can't see because of this stupid wig just fell out.
Oh no. Discussed to me with a rivet gun, putting it back in. There, now it can never come out. God damn it, Cupcake, I didn't mean it that way. Well, you said it fell out. I was going to make sure it didn't fall out again. Just completely unhinged, psychotic.
Oh, are you cleaning your brother? Is she getting along for once?
It's like, Mom. Ow. All right. What else? Go over here. I have too many Discord servers I'm in. So how about the orange Cheeto?
What about orange Cheetos?
You mean Trump?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, whatever.
Not much is gonna
Mr.
happen.
President, orange Cheeto man. Yeah, my brothers and I were talking about it. It's like, yeah, we're, our one aunt is gonna still be all for Trump.
Jeez.
Because he's for the people. It's like,
It's for the people giving him money because he doesn't have any.
And even then, he's not for the people.
Yeah.
Still stand by my original fear when he was elected for the first term was, granted, there's always the chance of another president doing this, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
But never before have I had a legitimate actual fear pop into my brain of, he's gonna tweet something and start World War III. Because my impression of most other presidents, even though they're not the greatest people on the planet, they're at least smart enough to follow the words of their advisors and be like, don't post that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It also kind of puts point the home of, this is what happens when you tell people they can be whatever they want. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing to tell kids. But also, some people should not be president of the United States. And you can argue that, well, Joe Biden shouldn't be president either. Well, you may have a point. But at least Joe Biden isn't sitting here tweeting out the kind of stuff Trump was, and at least he's not getting his son out of going through trial for the screw-ups that his son did. Because I know that's the thing that's going on right now, is Hunter Biden going through his trial for the guns or whatever it is. I'm not following it, but hey, as far as I could tell, it's still going through, so he's not exactly bailing his son out either. So, is Miss Kiki back?
Yes.
Excellent.
Ringo needed outside.
What's up?
Ringo needed outside.
Oh. Poor Ringo. His life is so hard.
Oh, yes, so hard.
Nobody loves him. Just a neglected creature. Last night, you guys like, what can we spoil him with tonight? I'm like, must be rough.
Yes, Mr. Mish will be like, hearing Baxter squeak, and he'll be like, oh yes, tell me how I can make your life easier, you tiny little freeloader.
I can just hear that in his voice for some reason. It's just fucking funny. It's such a shame you guys don't have any human children, because this kind of shit my dad would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
I know, I just... It's one of those things that just kind of punched me, and I was like, I know Cupcake didn't mean it in a bad way. And I love Cupcake. I swear, I love Cupcake.
No, you can hate me. I had that coming. I didn't even... It just like, it was one... this is kind of shit my dad said. It just like struck me as such a dad thing to say. Well, how can I make your life easier, you little freeloader?
Yeah, he's great with my friends' kids who call us aunt and uncle, and he does the thing where it's like, you're not eating your food. Like one of my mom and dad do. I guess I'll, Mr. Marcel, I guess I'll have to eat it. No, I'll eat my food. Threatening to, reaching over and threatening to grab their food. Just.
So, anyway, now that Cupcake has made everything awkward for the next 20, 30 minutes,
you're fine.
I'll be here all night. Tip your waitress.
You're fine, cupcakers.
Oh, I know I'm fine. I'm the fucking best. This is why everyone's friends with me, clearly. Not the fact that I'm an unmitigated, soulless monster.
Soulless monster, where?
Huh.
I just see a clown.
My life's a joke.
It's not
And
what
the
I
punchline will
meant.
be my death. Thank you and good night. Stab self in forehead. What the fuck, Cupcake? I'm immortal. Pulls knife back out.
Like I said before, Cupcake, I trust you with my children over some other folks.
It's the fucking modern retelling of Uncle Buck. I can just imagine the scene with Macaulay Culkin. So what do? Where's your girlfriend?
Why don't you have a girlfriend? You're asking a lot of questions for a kid.
Too. Just fucking like 10 years from now. Like, where's my mom and dad? Busy. Well, what are you doing here, old family friend? Why do they call you Uncle Cupcake? Long story, short answer is very silly.
Wait, why is there an anti-sunscreen movement?
What? No, what's wrong with sunscreen? It's got to be an ingredient, right? Like, I'm being serious, like, no joke. Like, is it one of the ingredients?
I first thought was someone had an issue with. Sorry.
So apparently on Instagram and TikTok, influencers are saying that sunscreen is bad for you because you can't pronounce the ingredients.
Well, you can't pronounce the ingredients because they're things that block UV radiation.
And aren't natural.
Sunscreen isn't natural. Cancer is.
Sorry. Oh my god.
Of course.
Like, there's an answer to that question, but nobody's gonna like it.
No, I know. That's why I said, no, sunscreen isn't natural. Cancer is. No one likes the answer that cancer is natural. You get too much sun on your non-melanated skin, you're gonna blister and burn and eventually get irradiated.
Especially against benzene.
Wait, their problem is with benzene?
Mm-hmm. Even though it's not normally found in sunscreen anyway, apparently.
Yeah, I was gonna say, usually it's copper sulfate. Alright, so you've got oxybenzone, oxosilicate, octosilicene, homosalate, oxytocin, titanium dioxide, zinc oxide is what I was thinking of. I'm sorry.
Although, I used to have a friend who was worried about zinc in sunscreen and anything in general, and I'm like, oh my god. Let's just say used to. Very strong used to. Then she went vaccination, and I don't talk to her anymore.
Go.
And it's one of those things where they talk about like oxybenzone, which is one of the most commonly found ingredients in broad spectrum sunscreens. There was a study that shows the skin absorbs these ingredients and caused a spike in interest to safe sunscreens. But the study reported no harm followed and concluded these results do not indicate that individuals should refrain from the use of sunscreen. I.e., this stuff might be bad for you, but regular exposure to regular unprotected exposure to sunlight is also bad for you. Like, it's a game of like, oh, well, this is bad for you, but the thing it's protecting you against is worse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like,
And again, oh, sorry.
And like I said before, guess what the natural thing is? No sunscreen and regular exposure to a source of radiation, i.e. the sun, equals possible cancer. That's the natural thing. Have fun. Storming the castle of cancer. Like, I'm not trying to be callous. I'm just saying, like, you want to be all natural? Fine. Have fun. Just make sure you wear long sleeves.
Right.
It's okay, there's people who think that if you drink raw milk that's been infected with bird flu, you'll be strong against it.
That's not how that works, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's not how vaccines work.
And then they wonder why they're vomiting all of a sudden.
Oh.
Because you drank raw milk filled with bird flu!
Exactly.
I mean, you probably would have vomited anyway because you're drinking raw milk, but...
Right. Something, don't tell me how to live my life.
Yeah.
Like, my kid can't handle the pasteurization process, then maybe your kid doesn't get to drink milk.
Wait, my child can't handle the pasteurization process?
I've heard that excuse before as to why people want raw milk.
Do people understand how pasteurization works?
Yeah, no.
They don't.
Like, there's nothing that would... You heat milk in a pressure vessel until it kills all the bacteria. It's not enough to even change the molecular formula of the milk. Is it like 180 degrees for like 20 minutes or something? Like, it's not like it denatures the milk, it kills all the bacteria.
Yeah.
Even if that somehow still was unsafe for your child, maybe your child just doesn't get to drink milk.
Yeah.
There's alternatives out there.
There are other sources of calcium, yeah.
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 I've just that just like people are like, I don't believe in homogenizing milk. Homogenizing milk does not change anything about it other than breaking the fat molecules up small enough that they do not separate out of the milk. This is an actual conversation I had at one point. They're like, I don't believe in homogenizing milk. I'm like, so you like to drink the cream off the top? What? I'm like, that's what homogenizing does, prevent the cream from flowing to the top of the milk. Oh, well, yeah, I don't believe in that. So you're okay with it? No, I don't believe in homogenizing milk. Okay. You don't believe in blender. What? You don't believe in blenders. What's a blender have to do with this? Did your mother have any children that live? I guess this is my own fault for having gone into a STEM field and, like, you know, learning the physical processes behind safety procedures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the whole vaccination, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, because I definitely want whooping cough.
Isn't it on the rise again?
Yeah, because nobody's getting vaccinated.
And monkeypox?
Oh, monkeypox is coming back? Son of a bitch. I know measles is on the rise because nobody gets vaccinated, and measles spreads like, you know, you look at somebody the wrong way and you get measles.
Yeah.
Yeah, monkeypox is on the rise again.
Well, what a party. Sign me up. Wait, no, don't.
Cases have doubled compared to last year. According to the CDC. Apparently we're on the rise of a vaccine.
Well, that's good.
Anyways. What else were we going to talk about, maybe?
Well, it's past 1, so we should probably wrap up.
Alrighty.
Yeah, probably.
So as usual, thanks for podding with me.
Indeed.
Happy
Indeedy
Pride.
doody.
Oop.
Yes. Happy Pride, everybody.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm just making all kinds of noise.
Right?
Alright, teely doo das, everybody's.
Bye!
Bye.
And there she
Dun,
goes.
dun, dun.
Thanks again, Cupcake.
All right. Bye.
Bye!